Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Caitanya Charitamrta Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Continuing with our reading of Chaitanya Charitamrta, this is chapter 8. Chaitanya Charitamrta, Madhya Leela, chapter 8. Title of the chapter is Talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. And we are on text 279. Let me just verify that. Please repeat. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And this is the verse for today. Radhikara bhava kanti kari angikara Nijarasa ashwadite kariya chavatara. Radhikara bhava kanti kari angikara Nijarasa ashwadite kariya chavatara. Radhikara bhava kanti kari angikara Nijarasa ashwadite kariya chavatara. Please chant. Radhikara bhava kanti kari angikara Nijarasa ashwadite kariya chavatara. Radhikara bhava kanti kari angikara Hara. Okay. Radhikara bhava kanti kari angikara Nijarasa ashwadite kariya chavatara. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Radhikara of Srimati Radharani. Bhavakanti, ecstatic love and luster. Kari, making. Angikara, acceptance. Nijarasa, your own transcendental mellow. Ashwadite, to taste. Kariyacha, you have made. Avatara, incarnation. Translation. Ramananda Rai continued, My dear Lord, I can understand that you have assumed the ecstasy and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. By accepting this, you are tasting your own personal transcendental humor and have therefore appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please repeat. Ramananda Rai continued, My dear Lord, I can understand that you have assumed the ecstasy and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. By accepting this, you are tasting your own personal transcendental humor and therefore have appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't have purport, but we'll do the Mangalacharan and go to the verse till we have the purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. I'll read the next verses till we reach the purport and then we'll discuss a little bit. Nija Ghuda Karya Tomar Prema Ashwadhana Anushange Prema Maya Kaile Tribhuvana. My dear Lord, you have descended in this incarnation of Lord Chaitanya for your own personal reasons. You have come to taste your own spiritual bliss, and at the same time you are transforming the whole world by spreading the ecstasy of love of Godhead. Apane aile more karite udhara ebe kapata karato mara kona vyavahara. My dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, you have appeared before me to grant me liberation. Now you are playing in a duplicitous way. What is the reason for this behavior? Tabe hashitanra prabhu dekaila swarupa Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Lord Sri Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, and Srimati Radharani is the personification of ecstatic love of Godhead. These two forms have combined as one in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This being the case, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his real form to Ramananda Rai. Purport. This is described as Radha Bhavat Jyoti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Lord Sri Krishna was absorbed in the features of Srimati Radharani. This was disclosed to Ramananda Rai when he saw Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. An advanced devotee can understand Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being a combination of Radha, Krishna and Radha, is non-different from Radha Krishna combined. This is explained by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmanam Api Bhuvipura Deha Bedam Gatautau Chaitanyakyam Prakatamaduna Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Jyoti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Chaitanya Charitamrta Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 5. Radha Krishna is one. Radha Krishna is Krishna and Krishna's pleasure potency combined. When Krishna exhibits his pleasure potency, he appears to be two, Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, Radha and Krishna are one. This oneness may be perceived by advanced devotees through the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was the case with Ramananda Rai. One may aspire to attain such a position, but one should not try to imitate the Mahabhagavata. Yeah. So, Ramananda Rai here is talking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and saying, you're being duplicitous. Right? In the previous verse, he was saying, you're being duplicitous. Does anybody remember what was happening before this section that we were reading? Why was Ramananda Rai saying Mahaprabhu was duplicitous? Yes, bro.
Because Mahaprabhu is like asking him questions as if he doesn't know. He's like pretending like he's not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah.
Okay, one reason could be that Mahaprabhu is asking Ramananda Rai the questions, right? Although he's the Supreme Person, he knows everything, but still he was asking Ramananda Rai all these questions. Tell me something higher, tell me something higher. That's one. But specific to just before this conversation, Ramananda Rai was speaking about something. Does anybody remember? I know it's been a week or two, I think, before we discussed that. Ramananda Rai was basically seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and saying, Mahaprabhu, when I first saw you, I thought you were a sannyasi. You look like a sannyasi because Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas, right? By this time he's taken sannyas. But then, after me initially perceiving you as a sannyasi, and then I saw you as like a golden doll with a golden lustre. But then the more I saw you, I'm seeing you as Krishna with his flute. So please tell me for sure that you are Krishna, right? You're Krishna, but you're playing the role of a sannyasi. But then Mahaprabhu's reply to that was, this is how all advanced devotees see everybody else. You know, when advanced devotees see the world, they see everything as Krishna. They see everything as Krishna's energy. When they see every single living entity, they see the super soul within the living entity. And therefore they perceive everybody as Krishna. You are a very advanced devotee and therefore you are seeing me and thinking you are Krishna. This was Mahaprabhu's reply. And this is the reply of Ramananda Rai to what Mahaprabhu was saying. That you think I don't know who you are. I mean, you think you can hide. This is what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also does it, I think, in the previous chapters. Right? When Mahaprabhu is sitting with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for 7 days together and discussing the Vedanta philosophy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in the beginning thinks Mahaprabhu is a young sannyasi. I have to train him. And therefore, he brings him from the temple, Puri temple, where he meets him, sits him in his house and says, you are a young sannyasi and you have to study Vedanta. Therefore, I have to teach you Vedanta. And you please listen, I'm going to teach you. And then at the end, when he hears the explanation that Mahaprabhu gives for the famous Atma Ramaschamunaya verse, he's completely convinced this is no ordinary young sannyasi. This is Krishna himself. And yet, Mahaprabhu at that time is trying to say, no, you're misunderstanding it. I'm not Krishna, I'm just an ordinary sannyasi. At that time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, it's sunny outside, and then he puts his hand over and says, it's really dark here, isn't it? Then Mahaprabhu is really confused. He says, you're like the sun. Do you think you just putting a hand over the sun can just complete the brightness of the sun and make everything dark. You're the Supreme Personality yourself, and you think just by having this sannyas uh, uh, garb, the garb of a sannyasi, you can really hide your personality as a Supreme Person. So this was Ramananda Rai's situation also, that over the conversation that they had, they were speaking about incredibly advanced topics. And then finally, Ramananda Rai realized that by interacting with this personality, I don't sense that he's an ordinary sannyasi. This is Krishna himself. And at last he says the real position of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Prabhupada is quoting this verse, right? Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Rai says, before culminating in this verse, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. And yet, he has come in the mood of Srimati Radharani and taking her lustre. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. Radharani is called Gaurangi because she has this golden lustre form to her. So Mahaprabhu has taken that, but he is Krishna himself, right? And he has come for several reasons. Why does Krishna come to this world? What does Krishna say? Why does he incarnate in this world? Yeah, in general, Krishna comes for paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya dushkritam, dharma samsthapanartaya, sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna says this in the Gita, right? To protect the sadhus or the devotees, to annihilate the demons, and to establish religious principles, to establish dharma, he incarnates millennium after millennium. Sambhavami yuge yuge. This is Krishna's reason, externally he states, for why he incarnates. But in the Chaitanya Caritamrta, we have seen this verse before that Prabhupada is quoting, and this Bengali verse is a summary of the verse that Krishnadas Kaviraj had already quoted. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vrikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmat. Right? So, the external reason for why Krishna incarnates is those three that we mentioned in the Gita. But Krishna doesn't really have to incarnate for those three reasons. Krishna himself personally, he can send his expansions, which he usually does, right? From Mahavishnu or Karanodakashaya Vishnu, the expansions happen, and then in each universe there is Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, and from whom the incarnations happen in that particular universe, and then they take care of these three aspects. They protect the devotees, annihilate the demons, and establish religious principles. But in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says when Krishna appeared, Krishna appears him personally, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original personality of Godhead. Krishna himself appears only once in the day of Brahma. It's a very, very rare occurrence actually, Krishna appearing. But somehow when Krishna appeared, it coincided that it was the time for another incarnation of Vishnu also, and therefore all these three things were also done. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says when Krishna appears, all the other incarnations appear along with him within his self-same body. Therefore, when the demons are annihilated, it is not really Krishna doing it, but it is the Vishnu aspect of Krishna who's doing it on all the other things. So this is the external aspect of why Krishna comes. And especially when Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the very reason that he came is because of the call of Advaita Acharya, right? This was Navadvip about 500 years back, and the Vaishnavas basically were in hiding. This is what the unfortunate situation was, is that the Vaishnavism or the Gaudiya Vaishnavism had actually deteriorated so much that people were themselves concocting different ideas of how what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, what his teachings were, and doing all kinds of nonsensical activities. And therefore there was really no respect for the Vaishnavas at that point. People really didn't want to become Vaishnavas. And this was one aspect. And the other aspect was that the Mayavadis were actually in a very strong position in Navadvip. So therefore they were not really taking up Krishna consciousness very seriously. And seeing people misguided in so many different ways, Advaita Acharya prayed so fervently to Krishna to appear. Right? He prayed by worshipping his Shalagram Shila with Ganges water and Tulsi. And it is said his cries were so loud that it broke the material universe and then went all the way to the spiritual world and then woke up Krishna. Like, who is this? And therefore Krishna had to appear specifically to save the people of Kali Yuga by giving, freely distributing love of Godhead. This was Mahaprabhu's mission. He appeared to distribute love of Godhead to people who were completely not worthy of it. He didn't see who was worthy, who was not worthy. He came to freely give this incredible gift. This was the previous verse actually in Chaitanya Charitamrta, right? This before Radha Krishna Pranay Vikriti, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says another reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Anarpita charim chirat karunayavatirna kalau samarpayitu munnato jvala swabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara dviti kadamba sandipitau sada hridaya kandare spuratuva sachinandana. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Anarpita charim chirat, that over many millenniums, such a thing had never happened. Karuna yavatirna kalau. Such a mercy had never been bestowed, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says. And what was that mercy? Samarpaitum unnata ujvala rasa swabhakti shriyam. Mahaprabhu came to bestow upon him the highest rasa that you can ever bestow upon anybody. This is ujvala rasa, or the conjugal rasa, the highest rasa that you can ever bestow upon somebody. So this was Mahaprabhu. He came to bestow the highest mercy that we can ever get. Right? This was his external reason. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the very next verse says the actual reason why Mahaprabhu incarnated. And this is this verse. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vrikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmanam Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Bedam Gatautav. So he says Radha Krishna Pranaya Vrikriti. That this conjugal loving affairs, Pranaya Vrikriti, between Radha and Krishna are manifestation of this potency called Hladini Shakti. Krishna has several potencies, right? And among those, the chief of all potencies is the Hladini Shakti, or the pleasure-giving potency of Krishna. And the personification of such pleasure-giving potency is Srimati Radharani. And in one way, the possessor of the energy, or the energy and the take, Prabhupada would say often, are indistinguishable, right? Without the energy, there is no energetic, the person. But still the energy is coming from the person who possesses the energy. So in that way, Radha and Krishna are completely indistinguishable. They are one. Jai Shri Radha Kalachanji ki jai. And the very nature of the relationship between the devotees and Krishna, the essence actually of all relationships is love. And in Chaitanya Charitamrta, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives this incredible chronology. The essence of all relationships is love. And he says the essence of all love is what? You know? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says the essence of all love is bhava, or emotions. Without any emotions, there can never be love, right? And the essence of all emotions, he says, is mahabhava, this great emotion that just this one personality possesses, which is Srimati Radharani. So therefore, the entire existence of Srimati Radharani is just so that she can give pleasure to Krishna. There is nothing else that she thinks. The only thing that Srimati Radharani thinks is, how can I please Krishna? How can I do something that gives pleasure to Krishna? This is the entire thinking of Srimati Radharani. Her entire life is there just so that she can please Krishna. And therefore Krishna is experiencing this with Radharani. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vrikriti Hladini Shakti Asmat Ekatmanav Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Bedam Gatautav. They were one, but then in order to experience this transcendental relationship, rasa, they split themselves into two. Deha Bedam Gatautav. They came in two bodies, but there's Ekatma. They're one person, but then they've taken two separate bodies. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says. So this is this transcendental relationship that Radha and Krishna have. And in this relationship, Krishna is the subject of love, the object of love, right? Sorry. Radharani, object of love is Krishna. And Krishna is experiencing all this wonderful love that Srimati Radharani has for him. And then at some point, things, through these interactions that I'm having with Srimati Radharani, I'm experiencing incredible happiness. That's true. But it seems like Srimati Radharani is experiencing 10 million times more happiness than what I am experiencing. Yeah? This is what Chaitanya Caritamrta says. Krishna is really thinking, and this is a fact, that Radharani experiences 10 million times more happiness than what Krishna can experience in that relationship. And therefore Krishna is really puzzled about this love that Srimati Radharani has for Krishna. What kind of love is this that she has for me, that she's feeling so much happiness? And I want to taste this love that she has for me. Krishna thinks. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, this is one of the internal reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Is that when seeing Srimati Radharani's love, Krishna wants to experience this love that she has for him. And the second reason, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, is when Krishna was one fine day looking at the floor, and then the floor in the spiritual world is not like ordinary dirt. The Brahma Samhita says, Chintamani Prakarasadma Shukalpa Vriksha, that you have these incredible Chintamani stones bedecking the floors, right, of the spiritual world. And Krishna sees his own reflection. And when he sees his own reflection, he is captured by his own beauty. Right? The very meaning that we say of Krishna is all attractive, which means he should be able to attract himself also. This is the wonderful nature of Krishna's beauty, is that it not only attracts everybody, it attracts himself also. And he's not able to experience this, isn't it? Everybody else can see us. We ourselves cannot really see ourselves. The strength of our beauty. And this is what the residents of Vrindavan and the Vrajavasis experience. That after Krishna has left Vrindavan and is gone to Mathura and then eventually to Dwaraka, and after a very, very long time, Jai Shri Radha Kalachandji ki Jai. So Krishna has left Vrindavan and he's gone to Mathura. He said he'll come back eventually, but then he went to Dwaraka. And then after a very, very long time, actually, all of them meet in one place, the Vrajavasis and Krishna. You know which place this is? No. Yeah, they meet in Kurukshetra. All of them meet in Kurukshetra. And then there is this description in Srimad Bhagavatam that the gopis are seeing Krishna after such a long time that they want to constantly see Krishna. And then they're cursing Brahma because he has defectively manufactured their eyes because they have to blink. They're not able to constantly see Krishna. At some point they have to blink and they miss Krishna. So this is Krishna's attractiveness, that we cannot take his eyes off of him. Krishna is so sweet, his beauty. And we sing this every single day in the morning, right? Venum kvanantam aravinda dalaya daksham Bharhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam Kandarpa koti kamaniya vishesha shobham Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That Krishna is so beautiful that he's playing this wonderful flute. And this is what I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says, right? If you have attraction to the material world, don't go to Keshi Ghat, he says. If you go to Keshi Ghat, you will see a blue boy holding a flute. And once you see him, there is no coming back. Once you see that boy, you can never be attracted to the material world. So Krishna is so beautiful that he has this bluish black body of that of this dense rain cloud holding a flute. And he's so beautiful that Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, that millions of cupids can't hold a candle to his beauty. That's how beautiful Krishna is. So Krishna wanted to taste this also, his own sweetness. Krishna wanted to taste. Therefore, he said, I have to incarnate in that mood. And then the final reason that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna's internal reason, is that he wanted to experience what Srimati Radharani experiences through this rasa. Right? He wanted to experience Radharani's love. He wanted to experience his own sweetness. And in the end, when this transaction of love happens, he wanted to experience what Srimati Radharani experiences. This Mahabhava that Srimati Radharani has, Mahaprabhu wanted to experience, Krishna wanted to experience it himself. Therefore, Chaitanyakyam Prakatamaduna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam. That he combined, the Radha and Krishna, they split themselves into two to experience this transcendental mellow, but then they combined themselves into one, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Radha Bhava Jyoti Sivalitam Naomi Krishna Swarupam. This is Krishna himself, but he came in the form of, in the bhava or the emotions of Radharani and Jyoti Suvalitam, and also in the lustre of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, non-different from Krishna, but he was not Krishna, but he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani and took the form of Srimati Radharani. He was golden form, Gauranga. He took the form of Gaurangi and came as Gauranga, Mahaprabhu. So Ramananda Rai is seeing this, and Prabhupada says, this oneness may be perceived by advanced devotees through the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is not a very frivolous thing, right? This Radha Krishna Pranay Vrikriti, that these transcendental loving exchanges between Srimati Radharani and Krishna is not something that we can take very easily. The Prabhupada has a lecture on this verse. This is Adi Leela text 1.5, right? Radha Krishna Pranay Vrikriti. And Prabhupada is giving several wonderful examples of how this relationship between Srimati Radharani and Krishna is so transcendental. And he's quoting this wonderful example where he's quoting Arjun saying the nature of Krishna, right? After hearing about all these wonderful opulences, vibhutis that Krishna has, Arjun is still not satisfied, right? He says, I want to see all of them. He described all of them, but I want to see all of them. And Krishna is asking, are you really sure you want to do it? But then Arjun is like, yeah, I really want to see it. And then what does Krishna do? He shows his universal form. And this universal form is terrifying actually to Arjun. You see his reaction. And then he is paying obeisances from the top, bottom, side, and from all directions. And then he's asking forgiveness from Krishna. Oh Krishna, I didn't know who you were. I really have spoken so many things without knowing who you are as a person, you know. Like I've called you like Yadava. Oh, you're just a cowherd boy. You think you're a Kshatriya. Like he's really intimate friends, right? They've pulled each other's legs in ways that only intimate friends can do. And now he's realizing who this personality is. And then he is offering this prayers, right? Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. That Krishna, I thought you were this ordinary boy. You were this friend of mine, but you are Param Brahma. Param Brahma. You're the absolute truth. But this is the nature of Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying in that lecture that even materialists in this world, right? Over time, when they're trying to experience the material happiness of this world, at some point they get disgusted by it. Why? Why they get disgusted by it? Because at some point they taste this sukha or this happiness called Brahma Sukha. Brahma Saukyam Tamranantam. That at some point, when they are disgusted with this material world and they want to do something better and they try to follow in the path of spiritual life, they taste this Brahma Sukha, this taste of absolute truth. And they renounce this entire world, right? They take sannyas, that this material world is useless. There is nothing in this material world. I've tasted something extremely high. So therefore, I don't want anything to do with this material world. So even if people of this material world who are engaged in these material activities, who have been so involved in these material activities, don't really consider that highly, how can Krishna consider material activities so highly when he is the Parabrahman, right? When he is the Supreme Lord himself, how can this relationship between Srimati Radharani and Krishna be anything material? That absolutely won't please Krishna, because he has no liking for this material energy of his. Doesn't really please him. So therefore Krishna's relationship with Srimati Radharani, this pranaya vrikriti, this loving affairs that happen between Radha and Krishna, have not a tinge of material nature to it. And Prabhupada was quoting this famous verse of Yamunacharya. This Yamunacharya is I think the spiritual master of Ramanujacharya, right? And he gives this verse many times in the Gita also, is that where he thinks, Krishna, after performing devotional service to you over many years, when the thought of sex comes to my mind, my reaction is to spit at it, Yamunacharya says. So when we've experienced something incredibly higher, we think in this material world, the pleasure that we obtain from sex is the highest. Even that, we see that we want to spit at it. Because the spiritual ecstasy that we experience is nothing close to anything that we can experience in this material world. So the transcendental affairs between Radha and Krishna are so exalted that we can never understand this. And therefore Prabhupada is saying that this oneness may be perceived by advanced devotees. But how can we become advanced? Prabhupada says, by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is why it is so incredibly effective for us to approach Radha and Krishna through the agency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we try to approach Radha and Krishna directly, we might completely misunderstand what it is. And we might not be able to reach it anyways, because it is really the topmost of everything that we have in this world. But Krishna himself came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not just Krishna, he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And therefore he is called Namo Mahavadanyaya. This is the reason why he is called the most munificent of all incarnations. Krishna has had so many incarnations, isn't it? And even Krishna himself, Uddhava says, Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigam seyapaya yadapya sadvi lebe gatim dat ruchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam rajema. He says, how can I take shelter of one who is even more merciful than Krishna? Kamva dayalum sharanam rajema. How can I take shelter of someone who is more merciful than Krishna? And he gives this example of why Krishna is so merciful, right? Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam. That there was this demon, Baki, who was the sister of Baka. Who was this Baki? She was Putana, right? Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam. That she applied poison in her breast to kill Krishna. This was her intention. That she came not to feed Krishna but to kill him. Jigam se yapaye dapya sadbi lebe gatim datri uchitam tatonyam. He gave them the position of Datri, or the nurse in the spiritual world for somebody who came to kill him. Think about it. If somebody who comes to kill him, we'll try to defend ourselves or try to run away or even try to kill the other person. But Krishna knew she came to kill him. But then Krishna was so merciful that he didn't see the intentions but saw the actions, that, oh, she really wants to give me milk. And he was so merciful that he gave her that position eternally in the spiritual world where she could nurse him. Right? This was Krishna, and therefore Uddhava is thinking, Kamva dayalum sharanam rajema. That who can be more merciful than Krishna himself that I can take shelter of? Right? And yet, we say, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurabdiche Namo Namah. Although Krishna is so merciful, there has been nobody so merciful as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we see this, that Krishna is saying, Sarvadharman Parityajya, you first surrender to me, then I'll protect you. I'll forgive you, don't worry, but you have to first surrender to me. But Mahaprabhu didn't really see any of this. Whoever he went, irrespective of what their qualifications were, they gave him, he gave them the highest thing that we could ever obtain, the highest thing is the love of God, Krishna Prema. He was freely distributing it. And why was he freely distributing it? Because he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. He was Krishna, but he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani is the most merciful of all personalities in this world. Karunam Kurumai Karuna Barite. This is Srimati Radharani. There is nobody else who is more merciful than Srimati Radharani. She is Karuna Barite. She is filled with mercy. This is, Radharani absolutely doesn't think she is greater than anybody. Although she is the greatest of all devotees, she thinks, oh, this person can serve Krishna so much better than me. Let him go and serve Krishna. Let her go and serve Krishna. This is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, when Krishna comes in that mood, he is most merciful. He doesn't see any qualifications. And we can approach him so easily. There is no, fences. Right? Krishna is so accessible to us when he comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, when we approach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we approach Radha and Krishna, we can actually obtain Radha and Krishna. This is what Prabhupada is saying. Right? Nobody can understand Radha and Krishna unless you are very advanced, and we can become so advanced only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this was the case with Ramananda Rai, he says. Right? Ramananda Rai could understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was none other than Krishna himself, but he was combined form of Radha and Krishna. He could understand this through the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So, this is the position of Ramananda Rai. And Prabhupada gives us a very clear warning, right? That although all these things are there for us, we should not artificially aspire to attain such a position. Prabhupada says that we cannot imitate this Mahabhagavata or the exalted devotee of the Lord. We have to approach the Mahabhagavata in a way that is appropriate. We cannot imitate the Mahabhagavata. We serve the Mahabhagavata, and through that service we become advanced, and then we can also realize all these esoteric topics between Radha and Krishna. So we'll stop here, and if there are any questions or comments or reflections, we can take it. Yes, Ajit Prabhu.
Thank you for the great class. I'm wondering, at first you were talking about Advaita Acharya, who is, he prayed for Krishna to come down. But Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu.
Yeah.
So it's like Krishna praying for himself to come, isn't it? Or
yeah. In fact, we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam that although Advaita Acharya is Vishnu himself, this is the nature of Krishna, is that he attracts everybody, right? He attracts Vishnu also. So there is this wonderful pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam where in the Kurukshetra war has happened, and then the Pandavas have been established as the rulers of the universe, and then there is a Brahmana, right, whose children are dying before him. This is actually unheard of in the previous times. If the king was ruling righteously, such an instance would never happen. The parents would always leave before the child leaves the body. And then this was one after another. He comes and complains in the court of Arjuna, actually Yudhishthir Maharaj, and says, what is happening? How are you ruling this world that such an instance is happening, that my children are leaving before me, my children are dying before me? And they are puzzled because they are ruling the kingdom in the best ways possible. This is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? The rains are there, the grains are flourishing, everybody is so happy, but what is happening here? And therefore Arjun says, this time let me see how this can happen. Who is doing this? I'm going to come and guard you. And when the wife is about to deliver, Arjun is there, but still the child dies. And then the Brahman is saying, what's happening? Therefore, Krishna takes Arjuna. Arjuna says, if I don't protect, I'm going to kill myself. Right? This was Arjuna's. But then Krishna has to, why do you have to do this? Every time you promise something like this, I have to intervene. So he takes Arjuna and they go searching all around, right? They go to the lower planetary systems to see if the children are there, and finally they go to Vaikunta. And these children are playing in the lap of Mahavishnu. And this was Mahavishnu's activity because he wanted to personally see Krishna. He was so attracted by Krishna that he wanted to personally see Krishna. So this is Krishna himself, right? So although Advaita Acharya was Mahavishnu, in this role, he was playing the role of a devotee. And although he could have propagated this, there were internal reasons and external reasons, so to speak, that we discussed, right? The external reason was that Mahaprabhu had to come and propagate the Yuga Dharma of Harinam Sankirtan. But then there were internal reasons also for why Mahaprabhu appeared, which we discussed. So that's why Advaita Acharya was praying. And then he in fact says this at the end of, I think, the Antya Leela. He sends a cryptic message from Navadvip to Puri that only Mahaprabhu can understand. I forget the exact message, but he says the marketplace is now, you can leave the marketplace now because everybody is satisfied. There is no, demand for rice in the marketplace or something like that, he says, right? Mahaprabhu came to distribute, but he says you have filled the whole world with Krishna consciousness. So now you can start focusing on your internal aspect of why you came. Your external aspect is finished, Mahaprabhu. You have distributed the love of Godhead through the entire world. Now you can focus on your internal reasons for why you came. This is why the last 6 years of Mahaprabhu in Gambhira was just very intense. He was focusing on this, experiencing this mood of Srimati Radharani in the very close association of Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. So these are the reasons why. Is that okay?
Thank you. I also wanted to share what I read in Caitanya Caritamrta about Advaita Acharya and Lord Chaitanya, so that I can remember.
Yes,
and also because it's relevant. But Advaita Acharya, he was such a wonderful devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Even though he was senior, right? So Lord Chaitanya came, and so Lord Chaitanya used to see Advaita Acharya as his senior, as his guru, but that really bothered Advaita Acharya. So one day he was preaching Mayavad philosophy to a bunch of Mayavadis, and Lord Chaitanya caught him, and he was so mad at him, he beat him up, and he's and Advaita Acharya was in ecstasy. He's like, yes, this is what I want.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. This was their relationship, right, between Advaita Acharya and Mahaprabhu. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the nice class. I have a very basic question, Prabhuji. I don't know if it's because that when we are raised in India, we are more exposed to Radha and Krishna. I don't know, the natural attraction goes towards Krishna. But now after coming to ISKCON and hearing a lot of Vaishnavas reading Chaitanya Charitamrta and reference to other scriptures, I understand and trust the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But when I look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I do pray to him please help me develop my love for Radha and Krishna. But it's more because I believe that that's the way to go through, but the belief is there, but that mood, I'm not able to develop that mood. So when I come here, I'm always attracted to Radha Kalachanji. I cannot look anywhere else. So, but all our scripture says, you also just mentioned, that we can only approach Radha Krishna through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's also true, that I have no qualification to enter into pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But even though in theory I know, but in practice, how do I develop that mood of surrender for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu more than what I have, the attraction I feel for Radha and Krishna? I'm supposed to feel more attraction and beg for more mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but my eyes and heart always goes at Radha Kalachanji. So can you give some practical things how I can implement this?
Actually, your eyes going to Radha and Krishna are the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Right? This is what it is, right? We misunderstand that Mahaprabhu is there not to block our vision of Radha and Krishna. This is a very transparent via media, so to speak, right? If we are serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we should have a natural propensity for Radha and Krishna. That is the consequence of our attraction to Mahaprabhu. And I actually missed the chain, right? We just spoke of the top two in the chain, that if we serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we can serve Radha and Krishna. But in order to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have to serve Nityananda Prabhu. And in order to serve Nityananda Prabhu, we have to serve a spiritual master. So it actually starts from there. I didn't really go through the entire chain, but the chain starts from the spiritual master. So it doesn't matter in that sense that As long as, I should not say it doesn't matter, but what I'm saying is, as long as you have, and it doesn't have to be an imposed thing, so to speak, right? I'm like really trying hard to do this kind of a thing. But it is very natural that the entire mercy that we are getting through the parampara is flowing through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no doubt about it. And when we start serving the spiritual master, then the mercy automatically comes, and then we start knowing Mahaprabhu for who he is, right? Once we start knowing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then I don't think we can ever go back. This is the thing, right? But that will come as a result of us serving our spiritual master through the chanting of the Mahamantra. And we are in this parampara that is so strongly connected with Mahaprabhu that it is inevitable that we can escape the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Right? Mahaprabhu goes out searching for everybody and gives the mercy. And what to speak of people who come to his parampara and surrender? There is no way that we can miss the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So I would say, I don't think externally we have to like force ourselves or focus so much on that aspect. But when we are starting to read about Mahaprabhu, this is how we are always attracted to any personality, isn't it? That how do we know about Krishna? We hear about Krishna, 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 Krishna. And then from this nama, we want to see, how does this person look? I've heard about him so much, right? It automatically goes to Rupa. And then, okay, what does he do? Guna, Leela. This is a very natural transition, right? So we hear about Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, who is this person? How does he look like? And then we start reading about what are his activities, what does he do? And once we read Chaitanya Caritamrta, I don't think we can ever not like Mahaprabhu. You know? This is my recommendation, I would say, is we start reading Chaitanya Caritamrta. And this is why, in fact, Prabhupada introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam is the summary of Chaitanya Caritamrta. Without knowing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's very hard to delve into Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So Prabhupada gave us Chaitanya Caritamrta right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So reading Chaitanya Caritamrta will definitely improve our attraction to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Is it also true that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu need to give us that mercy to experience that attraction towards him? Because we are so unqualified, we cannot do anything.
The thing is,
maybe
it's
he
there.
needs to give us that mercy also to develop that attraction.
No, it's there. That's my point, right? With Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't see the qualifications of anybody. He can give mercy to Jagai and Madhya. Right? There is absolutely, but that mercy can come through only Nityananda Prabhu. And we see this even in the case of Goswamis, right? That everybody who came to Vrindavan, they had to take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu before they could go. Raghunath Das Goswami tried to run away so many times, right? But the only time he could actually meet Mahaprabhu was when? During the Panihati, right? After that, he could actually go to Mahaprabhu. So even to approach Mahaprabhu, we need the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Right? That mercy is always there, but the spiritual master is even more merciful than Krishna, is that he is giving that mercy to us, forcing that mercy upon us, right? Nityananda Prabhu pulls Raghunath Das Goswami and places his lotus feet on his head. I'm going to give you a punishment. This is the punishment that he gave, you know, that I'm going to put my foot on your head. And then you have to distribute this chida dahi to everybody. So the spiritual master is so merciful. Right? Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. That we can never get the mercy of Krishna without the mercy of the spiritual master. So it all begins there. The chain begins there. So once we have the mercy of the spiritual master, then the mercy automatically flows. We cannot stop it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
This is my first time here, so thank you.
Wow. This is a PhD on your first day.
It was meant to be, but when I was coming here, my question, I was asked by a very good friend that Krishna is married to Rukmani, but everybody prays Radha Krishna, and Radha is supposed to be his girlfriend. And
Yeah.
I'm talking about very, very basic question.
Yeah.
So how do we answer? I'm here, so I'm here.
Yes.
Because I still believe everything is beautiful. But how does one answer the question that one is a wife and husband-wife, like Rama, Sita are together, but here we have Radha, Krishna together.
Yeah. Again, this is Incredible that this is your first time here, and the question you ask is also a PhD question. So, this is why it is very important that we know the tattva or the philosophy before getting into the pastimes, right? Or else we can misunderstand this very easily, that Radha and Krishna are just like any boyfriend and girlfriend. They're running around and, you know, experiencing this love like any boyfriend and girlfriend. Which is why in the class, I don't know if you were there, I was talking about how it's completely different to anything that we experience in this world between a boyfriend and a girlfriend. But your other question is incredibly valid also, right? In this world, the relationship between a husband and a wife is much more respectful than somebody who is not really committed in that sense. So therefore Krishna says in the Gita, the nature of this material world. He says, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam. That think of a tree where the roots are upward and the branches are downward. Can you think of such a tree? All the trees that we have seen here, the roots are down and the branches are up, right? But we do have experience of such a tree where the roots are down and the branches are up. But you have to go near a lake to experience it. If you have a tree on the bank of a lake and you see its reflection on the lake, then you can see that it's an upside down tree, right? So the actual truth is there in the spiritual world, right? But we are here in this material world, which is a reflection of the spiritual world. So everything here is upside down in this material world, right? So the most abominable of all relationships in this material world is this paramour love that you could think of, right? That this is boyfriend and girlfriend situation. But in the spiritual world, it's the topmost of all relationships. You see, the tree is actually the right way in the spiritual world. In this material world, it's a perverted reflection. Therefore, so that's the reason why. And everything that involves every relationship in the spiritual world revolves in the exchange of love between the Lord and his devotees, right? And as we spoke, either Srimati Radharani or Rukmini Devi, they are present only for one reason, to give pleasure to the Lord through exchange of relationship through love, right? All of us, every single one of us in this world have a unique relationship that all of us have with Krishna. This is our eternal relationship. All of us have an eternal relationship. We've just forgotten that relationship and we are here in this material world thinking, I can be happy without Krishna. And we can see through all our interactions in this material world, it only brings us misery, right? So the entire endeavor of spiritual progress is for us to discover this relationship between us and Krishna. And such relationships are majorly 5 in nature, right? We can have 5 major relationships with Krishna. And these are these paintings in this temple that are depicting that. 4 at least. The first is Shantarasa. We can relate with Krishna in the mood of awe and reverence, right? We come in front of Krishna and there is this we recognize God, but there is really no service involved in Shantarasa. But then we can also relate to God as servants. And the best of servants that we know is Hanumanji, right? His relationship with Lord Ramachandra was that of a servant, right? And we can also have this relationship with the Lord. And we can have a relationship of friendship with the Lord. And you can see many of these Gopas in Vrindavan have this relationship of friendship with the Lord where they treat the Lord as equal to them. There is really no difference between the Lord and the devotee. The Lord in fact becomes subservient to the devotee, right? And then we can have a relationship of parental affection with the Lord, right? Madhya, Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, all these devotees had a relationship of paternal affection and maternal affection with Krishna. And then we can also have conjugal relationship with Krishna, like the gopis had, like the queens of Dwaraka, like Rukmini had. These are conjugal relationships, right? But even among conjugal relationships, there are 2 kinds of conjugal relationships that you can have. One is the Swakiya, where you are married in that relationship. The other is a Parakiya, where you are not married in such a relationship. You are exchanging conjugal relationship, but you are not married. But you are exchanging conjugal relationship, you are married. So the conjugal relationship in which marriage takes place is the relationship that Rukmini Devi and Krishna have. Right? She is the queen of Dwaraka. And the relationship that Srimati Radharani and Krishna have is the conjugal relationship where marriage doesn't happen. And in the spiritual world, that is considered the highest kind of exchange of love that you can have between the Lord and the devotee. And this exchange has nothing to do with anything that we experience materially here, right? Which is what we discussed, that Krishna is Parabrahman, he is the supreme absolute. We ourselves get disgusted with this material exchange. How can Krishna take any pleasure in such a material exchange? So the exchange between Srimati Radharani and Krishna are completely transcendental. And that's the highest form of love that we can exchange with the Lord. And that is why Radha and Krishna are considered the epitome, highest epitome of love. Nothing to minimize. In the absolute sense, everything is same, right? All kinds of love that the devotee exchanges with the Lord is the same. But if we have to grade, the highest level of love that you can exchange between the devotee and the Lord is conjugal love. And in that, the love that you can exchange with the Lord when you're not married with the Lord. So that is the reason why Radha and Krishna are considered the highest. Yeah? Okay, thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
So as an example of how the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, Prabhu was speaking about this pure form of love.
Prabhu, if you don't hold
Eternal connection. So while shopping in Home Depot the other day,
yeah.
I heard a song that was basically, who's cheating on who? Whose car is next door? Who's So in the material world, this is the highest form of pleasure.
Yeah.
This sort of lying and cheating and getting over on each other.
Yeah. Thank you. I think we should stop now. We are way over time. Shri Chaitanya Caritamrta ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.